What up, family? CTR Media Network. Yeah. Best in the biz. Yeah. Join the team. CTR is who we are. The media network, that's the best by far. Whether you listen at your home, at your job, in your car, come get the information that's needed above all. Never lasting, motivational podcasting, giving you the answers to the questions that you're asking. Serious talks and topics, how to come up and profit, how to better yourself. Your health is here, we got it. Reaching 350 million, they tuning in. We in 50 different countries, we all can. And like minded, find your purpose and your assignment. Come get your fix, your feel, your mental alignment. Get active and speak to the masses. Build your influence all levels and all classes. Now you know you can monetize and grow. CTR Media Network. Start the show.
Hello, everybody. I am Dr. Tina Ramsay, the host of the Tina Ramsay Show and podcast powered by CTR Media Network. And our show is all about motivating you, sharing knowledge, having upbuilding conversations centered around business, wellness, education, and life. We introduce you to some of the most amazing standout entrepreneurs and influencers who are truly making a positive impact in the world. They're willing to share their insight and knowledge with you in order to help you grow. And today is like any other amazing day. We have an excellent entrepreneur coming on, telling us all about what she's doing and why she do what she does. But when you think about the words, yes, silver lining seeker, when you think about beacon of light in the midst of darkness, when you think of perspective shifter, these are the words that describes today's guest. Her name is Jennifer Hogue, like Vogue. Yes, and she is here to tell us all about herself. And she is a very creative soul with a wisdom of a sage and navigates life. And she does things in a very interesting way. And she has an infectious charm. But you know what? I don't talk about her enough. Let's just bring her on because you need to see her. Okay, let's go ahead and bring on Jennifer. Hi, welcome to the show.
Hello. How are you?
I'm doing amazingly awesome since you are here today. And Jennifer, you have a resilient spirit, to say the least. And the fact that everything that you're doing, I really appreciate it. And when I think about you as a person, you remind me of somewhat of myself. So when you think about, because I want, I guess, to get to know you a little bit better, would you say that your life or your upbringing, how did it shape your perspective?
Oh, well, that right there. So my dad was one of those guys where he really understood the power of words and the power of feeling that and how it meant. So growing up, I was a little blunt, to say the least. And at a very early age, he was like, Jennifer, you can't really talk to people like that. You really need to speak to someone and think of your tone and the words that you're saying. How is that going to be received? So he gave me early on that analogy, that example where you have like a 6 on the ground and you're standing on one side and it's a 6 for you, but the other person, it's a 9. So you have to learn how to step back out of your situation enough to remove your emotion and really try to understand what it's like from the other person's perspective. Because although you may be right, you're right from the way you see it. But that doesn't mean that the other person is not right from the way that they see it. So it's really important to take all of that into consideration when you're speaking to someone and someone is speaking to you, is having that wherewithal and that knowledge to be like, you know what? They're saying what they understand from their point of view. Now, how can I make it match mine? So definitely different growing up.
Wow. You know what? Well, normally we be giving our kudos to our moms, but kudos to dad for helping you see the 6 and the 9. Okay. Kudos. And also helping you understand at a very young age the power of your words. And your words are powerful. They can use to heal or they can be used to hurt. And so the way that we navigate into life is very, very important. I appreciate, I never even thought about when you make the number 6, how on the other person's side, they're seeing a 9. I was able to visualize it as you're saying it. And I'm like, you know what? She right. That's right. And so when I think about that, is there any period of time where you can think of, Jennifer, that had a significant impact upon your life?
Oh, most definitely. Back in 2018, I was out here living life before we had the phrase that life was lifing. I definitely had a boot on my neck, and I was really trying to find me. I didn't really feel like, I felt like I had for so long been living everyone else's life and everyone else's dreams and everyone else's goals, but I didn't have my own. So I was desperately trying to find me. And I came across this social media post saying, to confront a comfort zone. So you would do a comfort zone buster. So I was like, okay, I'm for it. And my very first comfort zone buster, I did the first weekend in September, and I did a sip and paint. And most people would think that's real simple and not too terrible, but I was terrified. I was sweating profusely. My hands were shaking, like it was out of control. But I had to face the fact that I had a lot of issues with perfectionism. And that's what was starting to hold me back. So I told my best friend that there were a lot of things that I wanted to do. I wanted to be a speaker, I wanted to be an author, and I wanted to be a life coach. I wanted to do these things. And my best friend, being my best friend, was like, I got you. She called me up one weekend. And she asked me what I was doing. Oh, she called me, it was on a Wednesday. She asked me what I was doing that weekend. And I was like, nothing, what's going on? She was like, great, I'm signing you up for a book writing challenge. And the book writing challenge is to be done within a weekend. You can do it. You got it. It's no problem. I have complete faith in you. And I was like, wait, what? And she was like, well, I mean, you want to be an author. You can't be an author if you don't have a book.
That's true.
Okay, you're right. You're right. Okay. Comfort zone buster. Let's go. And I actually made that happen, did it. And part of the challenge was like anyone who completed it, the person who was hosting that challenge, they would get the book published on Amazon. I was the only person in the entire group that did it. So that was major, right?
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, well, you've done that. Hey, I came across this form. I just need you to fill it out and just do it. Don't ask any questions, just complete it. I said, okay. So she hasn't stirred me wrong at this point.
Wow.
So, and it's for a TEDx talk. Okay, well, Jennifer, you said you wanted to be a speaker. You need to get used to filling out these forms and the types of questions that they ask. So I'm just kind of working my way through this. And I fill out that form. And because it was due at midnight. So I didn't have a lot of time to think about it because she sent it to me at 9 p.m.
Oh.
Don't you love that?
Deadline.
Deadline, who needs a deadline? And so I filled out the form and I got an email the next day that my submission had been accepted and I needed to come to Hilton Head, South Carolina that weekend to audition in person.
Oh my.
And I live in Maryland. So I had to get to Hilton Head, South Carolina, but we're going to do that. But I'm like, okay, it's preliminary. These are just the things that happen. So, you know, I'm just writing this course because I'm doing comfort zone busters. And this is definitely well outside of my comfort zone, because understanding, even when I used to go live on Facebook, I used to sweat profusely and I would shake. So what am I going to do on stage? And I get there and they loved it. And I was selected to be one of the speakers at the TEDx talk. And it was crazy because from that sip and paint that I did at the beginning of September to the time that I was on the stage at my TEDx talk was 90 days.
Oh, wow.
It was a lot.
Wow, that was a lot. But the fact that you was able to the comfort busters, and then having someone, I say that everyone need at least one buddy, whether it's entrepreneurship, whatever. If it's dealing with education, someone that's going to push you when you're not going to push yourself, and they know your personality. So she knew that time wasn't your friend. If you get too much time in between, because all of this, when I'm hearing, I'm like, she didn't give her that much time on anything. So she wouldn't have time to, you wouldn't have the time to think about it, to not do what you needed to do. So, smart friend. That's a good friend.
Yeah, that's the bestie. That's my bestie.
Yeah, that's a good friend. She's smart. She know do it at 12 midnight and gave it to you at 9. Oh, yeah. She's smart. She's smart.
Yeah, just fill it out. Don't ask any questions. Just do it. You want to be a speaker? Just do it to the best of your ability. Okay.
So in 90 days, it birthed author, speaker, and you're also a mother.
Yes.
Wow. So what we're gonna do? We're going to take a commercial break, and we'll be back in a moment with the amazing Jennifer and seeing what you guys can do, what I can do in 90 days. I mean, really, we'll be back in a moment. The Homeschooling Interactive Magazine is a magazine that embraces and celebrates the entire homeschooling experience. Our magazine is different from all the rest because we provide beneficial information and assistance in homeschooling, business, wellness, mental health, resources, and life. We encourage you to pick up a copy of our magazine today on Amazon.com by simply searching the Homeschooling Interactive Magazine. The Homeschooling Interactive Magazine is all about impacting the world through home-based learning, helping to de-stress the homeschooling experience. Get your copy from Amazon today.
Anybody that knows Tina, she's all about visibility, she's all about connection, and she's all about helping people create a source of income through monetization. And so again, Tina is just really good at what she does. If you've not connected with Tina, if you've seen her show or heard her podcast and you're thinking about connecting with her, I highly recommend it. As a result of my connections with Tina, she has helped me with recruitment of speakers for my upcoming event. She's also helped me to recruit several authors for a few of the book projects that I have had the opportunity to produce in this past year. And in all, Tina's just a really great person, that she's genuine in helping entrepreneurs in reaching their goals. So again, if you have not connected with Tina, be sure that you do. The Tina Ramsay Show is definitely a great venue for you to connect with other entrepreneurs, to connect with other individuals that are going to be interested in your service or your project. This is Tiffany Bell. Again, you are watching and listening to the Tina Ramsay Show, and I look forward to being able to connect with you.
And just like that, we are back, and I come along with a friend whom you may ask, the amazing Jennifer. But before I bring her back, guess what? Did you just hear what she said before the commercial break? Let me reiterate. In 90 days, we talking about 3 months, she became an author and a speaker. And she already is an amazing mom. So for all of you sitting on your little tuchus, let me say the right name, the gluteus maximus, and you're saying, which I coulda, shoulda, woulda, or I can't, honey, how long did you say, Jennifer, it took you to complete your book?
Outlined it on a Thursday, started on a Friday, and it was done on a Sunday. Weekend. I had a weekend. It was done in a weekend.
And see, that's my point. She did it in a weekend. Like, some people take years. Okay. Mm-hmm. You think you accomplished something, you take a couple of years or months. I mean, she did it in a weekend. So that is just inspirational in itself. The fact that you was able to do something that's such a milestone, and being able, and that just shows the power of our words. Again, going back to what your father taught you early on, your words have power. Little did you know, by you saying those words to your friend, that those things was going to come into fruition, but come so quickly. Right. We hear this all the time, but we hear the progression of time, a long time. But we're talking 90 days. And so there was so much that happened in those 90 days. Did anything else happen afterwards?
So that's kind of the crazy part, though. So after those 90 days, I said, like, I was in the process of trying to figure out who I was and what was going on with me and who is Jennifer. After those 90 days, I actually crashed and burned. And it was really hard for me to get everything back together because I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready. I didn't have even though my bestie is my bestie, you know what I'm saying? I didn't have enough people around me to help guide me to like keep it going and like figure out the direction. Like, I hit those milestones, but it was like I hit the milestones with like nothing else behind it. So that was kind of major. And so I fell back into, muscle memory. I fell back into being who everyone else wanted me to be and doing all the things that everyone else wanted me to be. And it kind of steered me into like, not a depression, but kind of a depression, because I felt like I was like I had a taste of who I could be, but I didn't know how to keep it. And so I dove into work and, just kind of went from there. So that was not expected, but it happens because when you're just not ready, when it's just not time, it's just not time. But that doesn't mean that it's never going to be time again. So that's what I had to believe.
Yeah. And I appreciate you being so honest and transparent in that, because we always hear about all of the glory, but we don't hear the story. We don't hear the behind the scenes thing. And sometimes it kind of reminds me, your story kind of reminds me of a person who put out a song and all of a sudden it hits number one. And they hit all this stardom and acclaim, and everything comes at a rush. And then you don't hear anything. And you're trying to figure out what happened to them. They, like you, they probably was at that point where everything was coming at one time and they wasn't ready for all the things that it entails. But the good thing is you have people, you do have your friend, but you also had the realization that, hey, okay, this is just a reset. This is just a reset. And think about all the things that you accomplish. One of the most renowned, prominent stages that any speaker wants to be on is a TEDx talk. And so the fact that you was able to do that first.
Right.
So the only thing you need to do now, you already hit the milestone. So now you just you go hit the little stuff. You go hit the little stuff. Okay. So you're gonna have to do that reverse engineering. You went to the top, you got to reverse it back and then work your way back again. And
I'm okay with that. And I am okay with that. I'm okay with all of that.
Like we work to get to the TEDx. And so, but I think that having your story and then having it such like it is so approachable, it's so real. And even though someone may have not had the experience of being on one of those prominent stages like a TEDx stage, however, they may have been on one of a stage or done some or completed something that was high on their level of accomplishments, right?
Exactly.
To that point, And that's with entrepreneurship. You go, and you hit those milestones, and then all of a sudden, things go like this. Everybody hit it. They don't want to admit it, but everybody hit it, okay? And during that time, it's a good time because it's the time that you can reevaluate, you can adjust, you are becoming the expert in this.
Yes.
Nobody talks about that everybody deals with. And this is becoming one of your messages that you can help people, because everybody goes through it. I'm in a lot of entrepreneurship rooms and a lot of education, academic rooms, and everybody deal with this, whether they want to admit it or not. Okay.
That's the part.
But we don't really see that representation out for, coaching and all that stuff like that. So I feel that what you're doing in your life experience, and that's part of being a life coach, your life experience, I think this is going to be very beneficial and necessary because you are a problem solver.
I am.
So what are some things, because what people, they probably thinking, like most of us are thinking, so how did you start to get yourself out of the rut? Because many of us find ourselves in the rut. I know I have been in the rut, honey. I had to rebuild, restructure, but I don't even know I can do this right here. Like, and then all of a sudden something sparked me and I get like a new idea to make something better that I already did, or in some cases drop some things that I'm doing in order to focus on what I need to focus on. So what was it? How did you get out the rut?
Woo. So y'all heard me talk about my best friend. That's my bestie. She's the one that got me through everything. Well, we're going to fast forward to 2020, and now it's COVID. And it's April of 2020. And she and I are very, very close. We are very touchy-feely. We hug each other all the time. And she lives in Virginia and I live in Maryland. Okay. And so during that time, finding supplies and certain things was difficult. So I found what was on her list and she found what was on my list. And so we met up in a parking lot. We did a little exchange and it was like, we can't hug each other, but high five from a distance.
Yeah.
2 weeks later, she had a brain aneurysm. So here it is, my best friend. She's a couple years younger than me, picture of health. And she's facing death at this point. And it's COVID. And I can't see her. And it was a reality check for me because I'm working at a job that's literally giving me chest pains and migraines on a daily basis. So I'm putting my life on the line on a daily basis for a company that I know, as much as they value my work, I know I'm replaceable. So she gave me a true hard life reality check that I need to figure out Jennifer again soon. And that's what I started working on. And I was like, you know what? All the things that I want to do, I'm going to do them now. We're not going to wait. I'm taking the trips. I'm hanging out with my mom. I'm doing stuff with my son. I'm seeing nothing is off limits. And in the course of me doing that, I found me. And it was literally because of impending death. Not mine, but it might as well have been because it's my best friend. It was a true reality check, and it definitely woke me up because I'm really one of those people. I don't have to learn by going through it. I can be close enough to learn the lesson. Knowledge doesn't have to come just because of experience. And I truly, truly believe that. But that was it right there.
Ooh, we child. Now you just took me all on the roller coaster. I wasn't expecting that one. Woo! That took me aback a little bit. So that touched me because I just had one of my close friends. They just passed away, so it just hit me, and I know when you seeing them and they doing good and they're the one that's motivating you and pumping you up, and then they, facing that, it puts you in a different headspace.
Completely.
And all the things that you thought was so important, you realize some of those things not important, and what's important you need to go ahead and do now. And so the fact that you was able to see that and didn't have to learn from trial and error, you was able to see that example in your friend and be able to press and move forward and get you out of the rut. And so that started you once again, though, even through her sickness, she motivated you to say, wait a minute, I need to find myself. And all too often as mothers, in particular, or if you in a relationship of some sort, I don't know what it is, but as women, we tend to lose our identity. We become that friend, that significant other, that confidant, that whatever that person or persons at our job need, the cheerleader, whatever it is. We wear all these different hats like a chameleon, and we take on that big S superwoman.
Right.
I don't know why we do that, because I tell people about when I had lost myself and I had to find out, wait a minute, I need to drop all this here. Who Tina is. Drop them letters in the front and the letters in the back. Forget that. Who Tina is. And so
back to basics.
Yeah. So when you had that revelation, Finding Jennifer, I should say, sounds like a book. Finding Jennifer. What? Ooh, let me see. So we're gonna talk a little bit more about you finding yourself, and also talk about some more things, because we got to take another quick commercial break from our sponsor, and then when we come back, I want to talk more about you finding yourself and what that actually birthed. Because I think this is something that's really going to touch a lot of our audience hearts, because they can see themselves within your story. So we'll be back in a moment with Jennifer, honey. Join the She Trucking Foundation today and be a part of a supportive community of women in the trucking industry. Unlock exclusive access to valuable resources, including mentorship, educational workshops, and networking opportunities. Whether you're an experienced professional or just starting your trucking journey, She Trucking is here to empower you and help you thrive. Visit www.shetrucking.com to join us and drive your trucking career to new heights. CTR Media Network is now accepting new podcasters to join our growing network that's reaching 350 million global listeners. Have you heard? CTR Media Network offers podcast production, podcast training, distribution, and product placement. Book us for your next event or schedule an interview with CTR Media Network podcasters today. To learn more, go to ctrmedianetwork.com. And just like that, we are back, and I come along with a friend whom you might ask, the amazing Jennifer. We back. All right. And so before the commercial break, we was having a discussion about what got Jennifer out of her rut and how Jennifer had to find Jennifer again. And due to the unforeseen circumstances of her best friend, her confidant, the one who been pushing her in these 90 days, facing a life and death situation, it actually prepared Jennifer to take a really hard look at what she was doing with her life and realizing, like, hey, wait a minute. I need to start learning and feeling who Jennifer is. And that birthed this amazing. Tell us about your ebook. Because, honey, we need to read this ebook, because you said you're an author. Don't you got an ebook or a book out there?
I do. So the ebook is actually motivational quotes that I have actually coined for myself to get myself through. So it's like motivational anecdotes. I mean, it's a really quick and easy read, but I touch on a lot of topics, like of which one was death, because I lost, both my dad and my stepmother, and it was the process of going through all of those steps. And so when you're going through, and when you thought that you've dealt with emotions, you don't realize that you haven't until you have written them down. sometimes speaking about it, you're like, oh yeah, I'm good. Or, just thinking about it. But when you actually have to physically write them down to articulate what's in your mind, it just becomes a completely different situation, which is why journaling is so important. You got to put really, it's not about just having the words to those emotions. It's being able to see those emotions and release them into a safe space. And that's what all of that is.
I agree with you, because journaling is very, very powerful. And also it is a reminder. I remember having journals. I've been journaling, or back then we used to call it our diaries, now they call them journals or whatever. I'm aging myself, people. But anyway, it is therapeutic. It's like a release. It's just something that digital things will never be able to do. What the essence of pen to paper, or pencil to paper, however you want to write it. It does something. It connects with our brain and all our senses in a way to make things come into action. So you're right. Having those quotes, having those reminders are very, very important, especially when you're going through or have went through something, in order to help you really. You never really get over death, but you learn how to cope with it.
Right.
And so learning how you can cope, and in essence, be able to be an inspiration or some kind of outlet for someone else who may not have your coping skills yet, that need kind of like a navigation, I would say, a compass, right, so to speak. So your ebook is called Life in Quotes, a journal of revelation, transparency, wellness, motivation, self-discovery, and more. Can they get it on Amazon? Do they need to go to your yeah, they go to Amazon. So go to Amazon. And they'll be able to get you'll be able to get that book. But with that being said, people will think, wow, she already became an author. She already spoke on TED Talk. She already did all these things, right? But Jennifer didn't stop there. You have a passion for helping not only yourself, but most importantly, helping other people. So with that being said, what made you, how can I say it? Did you ever think that you would have a little podcast? Because somebody done told me something that you got a little podcast.
What had happened was, see what had happened was I went through a whole period of finding me, doing me, getting to me. And during this time, I kept being told that I needed to get out there and speak to people, and people needed to understand my perspective, because I'm really big on transparency with yourself. And that's the hardest part. And so I will speak to people through me. Sometimes it's easier to take someone else's life as an example and then use that to figure out your own. So I do my best to be as transparent as possible with what I'm going through, and for my situation to resonate with you. You know what I'm saying? So to find that similarity, and then maybe you can take some of the steps or that perspective shift so that you can look at your situation just a little bit differently. So when it came to the podcast, a little birdie tapped me on my shoulder and told me that I needed to stop playing and I needed to get out there. And I like listening to the birdies that are in my life. I like listening to the birdies that are in my life, because it was time. It was time to get back out there. And it was 5 years. And it's kind of like, it's like a bamboo, you walk for 5 years, and then it's at the very end where you're suddenly seeing all the starting to see all the work. I am now breaking through the ground, because I definitely put in that time to figure out me. I'm the bamboo shoot. So
I love it. I love it. And I understand the power of podcasting through and through. And one of my missions is helping individuals unleash the power of podcasting, helping individuals like yourself to tap into this medium, because this is what people are listening to. This is what people are doing. And the best way to impact and reach thousands or millions of people all over the four corners of the earth is through the power of podcasting. And so, and yeah, we can go and travel. We can travel, but we're human. We can't do it so much, but that podcast can go everywhere and it never has to sleep. So the fact that you was able to take not only your speaking, your authorship, but now your voice, going back to your words. See, like that boomerang, it's going right back to what your daddy first started with you with that 6 and 9. It's going back, it's going right back to that. And then even though you did other things in the interim, it still took you back to your words, which means your voice. And so, what's the name of this podcast? Because I know they're like, wait, where can I go listen?
So it's called Small Steps, Major Moves. Mm-hmm. And the reason for that is because it's taking these small, actionable steps in your daily life to slowly shift your perspective so that you can actually get towards your goal. It's basically ways to move yourself out of your own way, because I'm pretty sure a lot of us get in our own way, right? That's probably the number one. I'd be so much further along if I wouldn't get in my own way. Well, I'm here to help you get out of your own way. Just small little things where it doesn't seem like it's making a big change, which means that it's not overwhelming. It's very manageable. And as you continue to do it, when you look back, you realize, dang, I've actually done a lot. And I'm actually heading in the right direction. And I no longer feel overwhelmed. And I know my brain is no longer crowded and cloudy and foggy and filled with all these other things. Like I can actually focus now. So that's
wow. That is great. So what we're going to do, we're going to take a commercial break. We're going to come back and then we're going to have a little bit more conversation and then we'll say goodbye. So let's go ahead and take a commercial break and we'll be back in a moment.
Listen, if anybody's interested in getting into podcasting, grab this book. Go on Amazon, grab this book. It goes with me almost everywhere. This book has like a workbook. It has places you can fill it in. It tells you how to monetize your podcast. It tells you how to set it up. It tells you about sponsorships. Listen, go on Amazon and get this book. And this is the Bible for podcasters. Listen, it was ranked number 1 in podcasting books. Look right here. Best new podcasting book by Book Authority. Right there. Boom. And a little secret. Y'all, when you grab this book, I think it's page 43. There is a code on there. Listen, you can get access to her class, her course. Get her course. It's worth hundreds of dollars. But this book is less than $50. Grab this book on Amazon. I'm telling you, I carry it everywhere. She is the best. Grab this book on Amazon.
And just like that, we are back. And I come along with the amazing Jennifer. We back, girl. We back.
Hello.
All right. So before the commercial break, we was actually talking about, or I would say speaking about, how your life did that boomerang effect, went all the way full circle, ended up going right back to your roots of your father impacting your life at a young age, sharing with you the power of your words. And how to use them. And also you giving this great illustration of the 6 and the 9 and how different perspectives play a huge role in the way that we communicate and interact with each other, and how you was able to hit various milestones very, very quickly, 90 days. However, you talked about how you had to get yourself out the rut, the things that you had to do in order to do that. You had started your book. You are that TEDx speaker. And now we're at the next layer where you actually go back to where you began, your roots, your voice, your words, with Small Steps, Major Moves podcast. So where can they tune in to listen to this amazingness? Because we need these small steps, major moves. Because you give it to us little, don't give us no big steps. Give us a little step.
I mean, because if you think about it, I'm going to tell you where you can find me. But if you think about it, if you had to climb up a ladder, would you want a lot of little steps, or would you want like 9-foot
No. You're not gonna do it. You're gonna hurt yourself.
You're gonna set yourself back. You're gonna fall off. We're not gonna do that. That's not what we're here for. But you can find it, my small steps, major moves, on Spotify, on Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, Radio Public, and Overcast. There it goes.
All right. So you can find her basically on any places that are podcasting platforms, major podcasting platforms. You can check her out and make sure that you listen to her as well to get those small steps, major moves. For those of you who may be in a rut right now and you're needing that, you may not have a friend like Jennifer. You may not have a supportive circle that can serve your needs in this moment, because we have a lot of people in our life, but that don't mean that they can serve you for this particular part of your life, this phase, or whatever you're trying to achieve. Well, I feel like this podcast may be a great venue for you because she's giving you small steps, and we don't have no time to try to eat the whole cake. We need a slice at a time so that we can see the progress, so we can be motivated, so we can keep moving. So Jennifer, I just want to thank you so much for coming on the show today and sharing your story, being so transparent, and also taking us through finding Jennifer.
It is a journey, and it's a journey for everybody. And I hope that everyone takes the time to find themselves, because that's who we need. That's why you're here.
I agree. And what I have found, seems like every decade you refine yourself again. It seems like every decade you get 20s is different from the 30s. The 30s is different from the 40s. You change, you grow. And so embrace it, grow, and learn. Do you have anything else you'd like to share with our audience before we go?
Can I tell you what my favorite phrase that I love to say to everybody?
You sure can.
There is nothing about you that needs to change, but there is so much left to discover. So let's do it together.
Woo, child, don't get me started. Okay. Well, thank you so much for giving us those words of inspiration. Jennifer, you stay in the back. I'm going to put you in the back room and hold tight, and I'll be with you in a moment, okay? All right, you guys, wasn't Jennifer amazing? Yes, she was. Yes, and yes. For those of you who need that inspiration, who need that motivation, that accountability, I encourage you to go check out her podcast on today and go ahead and not just listen, but go ahead and hit that subscribe and follow or whatever it is on the platform that they have. You just click it so you'll get them notifications. But I do want to talk to our lovelies, yes, here at the Tina Ramsay Show. I want you to know that if no one told you this today, that you're worthy, that you matter. I want you to know that I love you and that you do matter. And I want you to do what? Until the next time we see each other, I want you to do what? I want you to keep smiling. Thank you so much for tuning in to this week's episode of the Tina Ramsay Show. Make sure to tune in, like, follow, share, and subscribe on all social media platforms. And we will see you next week, same time, same place. Have a great day.
Hello. I'm going to say I absolutely loved being on the Tina Ramsay Show. Her ability to be able to ask questions, her ability to be able to showcase a female, her professionalism, the communication, the razzmatazz of the entire outlook here on the podcast was absolutely phenomenal. And I'm honestly going to give her a 10 out of 10 when it comes to her podcasting skills. And I can say this with a lot of backing because I've been on over 100 podcasts. And I'm telling you, she's A1 in my book for sure.
Well, you have any closing remarks before we head out?
Y'all, please support the movement of CTR Media Network. I'm telling you, being a part of this amazing media family, I can't go wrong, right? They have the support. They support us in all that we do. If we have questions, they take the time out to advise and mentor. So definitely check out the different plethora of shows that are on the network. I promise you, and I'm not saying this because I'm part of the family, but I promise you, You will be uplifted, inspired, educated, motivated, all the good stuff that we all need to carry ourselves out through the day. So definitely go check it out, y'all.
Awesome.